Hello, this is Gibraltar. Here I am at my cow farm in my survival world that I've built. And this is a cow farm that is super easy to use. And so I wanted to show you how to build it. But first, I thought I'd show you how to use it. So, without further ado, let's go look at things. So, as you can see, there's a bunch of cows over here hopping up and down. Now, they're in some water, which is why they're bouncing up and down. And the fact that they're bouncing up and down means that they're ready to be fed. So what I do is come up here, just open the gate, step over, and the dispenser shoots out 10 pieces of wheat. That's because there's 10 cows here. All I have to do is hold down right click. They get fed. Takes a little while till the last one eats. And I'm done. I step back, gate closes, the cows fall down. Now the baby cows, most of them have already fallen down below that to a water collection area. They'll fall down further, and then as they grow up, they'll be burned to death, and all their drops will come up here. What's great about this system is that the cows won't start hopping again until they're ready to breed and to be fed. So I can come by here. If they're not bouncing around, I'm good to go. I keep going on my way. If not, if they are bouncing, I can come in here, open the door, step in, and feed them. Now, right now, you'll notice that because they're not bouncing, nothing gets messed up, but I do get the wheat. So I can throw that back in there because I don't need it right now. Although it is nice if you need wheat for other reasons. You got an easy wheat dispenser. So, with that shown, and you can see a little bit about how I've decorated here. Come into my home. It's kind of a nice area. A little loft up here where I can put some extra hay. So I've got it. The redstone is hidden back in here. But with that shown, let's go ahead and go through what it would take to build one of these. So we'll hop over to my creative world sandbox and I'll show you how that's done. The first thing you want to do is figure out where the actual cows go. And you want a hole for that. All right, they'll go down there. Before we dive down there and start carving that hole out, we can put a dispenser in here. This dispenser is going to give us the wheat that we need. And then we can go down. And 2 blocks below, put another dispenser. This will put out the water that will allow the cows to jump up and down. One more block down, clear this out. There you go, 2 more blocks down. Okay, so this is our little room. And we can clear a space out here. This is where the baby cows will get filtered to. And then we'll need something for the cows to stand on. So this works pretty well. You get a trapdoor. The adult cows will stay above that. And the baby cows will be able to fall through. We'll put some other trapdoors out just to give the baby cows, make it feel like they can walk over here. So that they will. And then we'll put some water down here so that this pushes the cows this way. Won't put that down quite yet. Then we'll knock out 2 more blocks there and put some signs up. Now, this sign here is going to block the water from flowing down. Another sign 2 blocks below it, because lava will come out here. This will kill the adults. Cows, once these babies grow up, they'll become adults. We'll also want a sign here and a sign here. Those 2 signs will keep the water right here, which will make it a little easier. Just keeps us from having to worry about water flowing out. Okay, so now we can come down. We have another dispenser here. In between our 2 signs, 1 up, 1 down. This is the dispenser that's going to kick out the lava to kill the adults once they've grown up. Now below that, we need a place to catch the drops. Put a hopper in, make sure that hopper is facing towards this block here. You can check there, yep. And then right here, we're gonna have a dropper vader. So put a dropper in here, and really we're gonna go all the way up to, so you wanna hold down shift, jump, place your droppers all the way up. There we go. So this is where your chest can be that will collect all of the drops. And then what I like to do is actually put furnace next to it. It gives it a nice order underneath the chest because it doesn't take up the full block. On shift. And then we've got a double chest here. What this means is that if for some reason you get some regular raw meat in here, you can just carefully click there and cook up your raw meat, put it back in there. Typically, all of your meat that you get is going to be cooked already. So we've created the bottom here. Actually, we could have done this before if we were in survival, we would have, before we'd gone over, but we can put some water there and then that'll flow out and you see it'll push the babies right over here. Okay, so let's hop back out of here. Okay, that's step one. We've got our collection in place. Just to wrap it up, we can put a water bucket in there and we're good to go. Okay, next step is the triggering mechanism. The triggering mechanism is going to be a stone pressure plate right here, which is going to power this block. And then from that block, you can draw power here, bring it down. Now this is going to be kind of our main line of power. It's gonna bring our power along here. Now if we look right here, we go over 1, 2, 3, and right there we're going to put a redstone torch. This is going to invert the signal that we're getting from our trigger mechanism. And clear that out. Actually, right there. Okay, so we need a pulse generator. This is going to be a leading edge pulse generator right here, so that when this redstone is lit up, it will pulse right there. And then we take the repeater there, 2 ticks. Now we get 1 pulse when the redstone here turns on. This generates a single pulse that goes up here. And that pulse is going to trigger the dispenser here to shoot out a bunch of wheat. In fact, we can go ahead and put the wheat in here, sitting here. So to do that, we're going to need to power this block 10 times because we want 10 pieces of wheat to come out. So comparator here, this comparator is going to be a subtracting one. Same thing here, another subtracting comparator. Oh, a block that goes into, redstone here. And then to take this pulse and turn it into 10 pulses, we use these comparators to do this kind of fun subtraction. And then we need 1 more comparator going in here. And that one is going to be reading out of dropper. It can be any container, but if you got a dropper or a dispenser, you want a stack and a half items there. Now this should be set up, and we can test this right now by coming over here. Let's go ahead and put our pressure plate down. Now, if I step on this, I should get 10 pieces of wheat. I've already got 1 piece of wheat. So just go ahead and step on this. Ooh, I only got 1, which means I did something wrong. Let's go see what we got wrong here. That looks right. That pops up. Oh, no, that's right. That's a subtracting comparator. This is a subtracting comparator. Ah, these do not go. These two comparators don't both face the same direction. This one is going to face back in here. So it comes out, goes back in. This is the loop that slowly gets smaller and smaller from these subtracting comparators. So let's try this again. We now should be able to step on this, get to 10 pieces of wheat. Yep, we started with 1, we now have 11, so good to go. Back in there. Okay, so that works. At this point, if we wanted to, we could hide this a little bit. I like to kind of build a little shed around my redstone here. So I do like that. Then we could pull that right across. And then this can be the front of a shed. We can cover this up. We'll show you how to cover that up in a sec. So we now get, oh, oops. We now get the wheat out when we step on the pressure plate, but we also need to have the water come out and go in at the right times. So let's talk about what those times are. We know when we're done feeding, we want the water to be retracted, which drops the cows back down. So that's what this is going to do. Here we're inverting the signal. We're going to, right over here, let's clear this out a little bit. We're going to be working back here. So this is where all the redstone's going to go for triggering the dispenser that lets the water out. Clear all that out. So the first thing is we've inverted the redstone. So this now becomes, quite simply, a trailing edge pulse generator. So when this redstone turns off, we get a signal here. And again, set that to 2 ticks. So that means when you step off the pressure plate, we want the water to retract. So it's going to go into block here and again, a dispenser. What this dispenser is going to do, well, we'll talk about that in a sec. But we do know we're sending it into this block. So let's go ahead and again, redstone out. Inverted, and put down a repeater. This repeater is going to stay at 1 tick. It's going to power this block. I'll put some redstone there, which will power this block. Invert it 1 more time, and it's over. Ta-da! We just dispensed water. Now we'll get that set up right. But basically, this will turn when the pulse happens. This turns off, turning this on. Powers this, turns that off, and then as soon as the pulse is over, this turns back on. We get the pulse there that will then dispense that. But we also need to power that dispenser once after 5 minutes after you've fed them. So we know we're done feeding them when this pulse comes in. So what we're going to use is an item despawn timer. And the items we're going to use is seeds, because they're super cheap. If you've got a wheat farm going, you're going to have a ton of seeds anyway. It's actually not hard to set this up. So we just got hoppers leading into this, so it's always supplied. Just like you can supply over here the dispenser that dispenses the wheat from your wheat farm. Okay. So this item despawn timer is going to need to use a pressure plate, this time wood. So it's going to kick out items, and then when those despawn, we're good to go. So what that's going to look like is measure the power there and combine it here. That way, we do kind of a similar thing. We're basically ORing these two, which when knotted means we're ANDing them. And then we also want to bring some power along here. So now when this is powered, it'll power this, which will trigger that. So as soon as an item hits there, we're gonna power this, turning off that. So it's gonna basically retract at that point. So with all that done, we should be able to see that happen. Actually, this item despawner timer is only gonna work if we've got it protected properly. There we go. So now the items will pop out here. To fully protect it, we'll probably put one there. We could put one here as well, but sometimes it's nice when you're working this out to be able to go grab those items, which simulates that despawn happening. So let's see what happens. We've got the water there, which means the cows would be popping up and down right now. So at this point, if we wanted to, we could step on this. Water's gonna stay. We get our 10 wheat. Wonderful. And then we step off of it. Ta-da! Water is retracted. Now, what we want to test is that when the item despawns, the water gets dispensed again. So let's just go over there and pick up these items. You see that it's done powered. Sounded like we got some water. Perfect. So that's all working correctly. At this point, you could start running things. You start breeding cows. Right? You can stick some cows in there. Easiest way to do that is get rid of that and cover this up a little bit and put a sign right on top of that, and then just get some water, like water here, and then surround it by blocks. Get the cows in there, they'll eventually fall down. So now we need to kill them, right? What we're gonna do is come out here. I'm gonna take this line of blocks. We're gonna go down 2. At this point, we're far enough away from our opening that, and actually we want to over 2 as well. Far enough away from our opening there that we're gonna want some light. Let's just grab a torch here. There, light it up there. That's good. Okay, so here we're going to invert our signal again. And we're putting in one more pulse generator. So this is going to get a pulse. This is going to generate a pulse when 2 ticks. And while we're down here, make our lives easier. Put some ladders there so we can get up. So this is going to generate a pulse. So we've got if we've got an item there, this is powered. The redstone torch is off. When it despawns, this is going to generate a pulse down here. And what we want that pulse to do is ultimately to trigger 2 pulses to this dispenser. One to release the lava, so it pops out. And one to pull it back in. While we're down here, we can go ahead and stick some glass in so we can see what's going on over there. So what we're going to do is we're going to split the signal right here. And then we're going to send it down here. This one's going to go nice and slow. So we want full 4 ticks on all 3 of those. This one's going to go quick. So leave that at 1 tick and just bring this over. And then we'll stick block there. So what this will do is this will power this block. I think we could actually leave that out, right? Power that block, which will power the dispenser. So let's go ahead and put some lava in here and test this. So the easy way to test this is to just pull out the redstone torch. Okay, we put that in. We're gonna see a signal come. It's gonna go slowly down here, quickly down here. Should see the lava just barely over there pop out and then get retracted. Oh, that got put in the wrong place because of my torch here. move that torch. I just broke it. Don't want that. Okay, so power this. Oh, not with a real torch. We want to do it with a redstone torch. Okay, lava and retracted. So that lava will last just long enough to kill the cows. They'll catch on fire and they'll get damaged enough that they will die. So this is our this dropper here is part of our dropper vader that we're going to build up. So we need to move around that. These are going to be the blocks that power that. So we'll just go right around that and come down here. Leave that's as far down as we want to go. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to clear out a 2x4 here. 2x3, 2x4. I want to make it 3 high. We put in some lighting here so we can see. Okay, so block. This is a basic timer for a dropper vader comparator. Redstone block, redstone torch, and this is going to lead back into this block with a comparator, and so right here we're going to have 2 hoppers. Those 2 hoppers need to feed into one another. So one there, that one feeds into that one, and then back into that. Now the redstone torch is on, so if we put an item in here, it's stuck here. But then once this comparator detects that something's in the dropper vader, turns off the redstone torch, item hops back and forth, and that's going to power our column of redstone torches all the way up. So if we go, there's our top. Now in, whew, can't talk right now. And there we have it, all the way to the top. Nothing in there. You heard the droppers click because they were trying to move stuff, but there's nothing to move. So at this point, we should have all the pieces in place to kill the cows, to feed their drops back up to our collection chest, and we can test that. The easy thing to do at this point, we have water there, so let's go ahead and put, what you want ultimately is you want 10 cows in here, okay? 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Here. And it's hard to put them in while they're bouncing around, so let's just go ahead and get this. Drop them back down. Okay, so they're all dropped back down. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Now we'll want to put our trigger back there. And we'll want them hopping again. So go kick that off. Okay. They're hopping again. It's exciting. Now, let me get my wheat. Come over here, step on it. Shoots out 10 wheat at me. I feed them with the wheat. I'm creative so you can't see the wheat go away. Now they're all fed. There's a bunch of babies falling down. Now if I step off this, they're gonna drop back down. Sometimes they'll hop for a little bit longer, but they're just crazy. So now if we come over here, we can see that one we can get rid of. We can see there's some baby cows down there. We can get some experience from them. So they're just waiting to grow up. It'll take them 20 minutes to grow up. This could go through a few cycles if we wanted it to. And once they've grown up, then the lava will start killing them. Their drops will come up. So, last thing here to talk about is decoration. We've built the wall. That's already some decoration. But this thing here is not that cool. So what I like to do is use some hay. And we'll use some, let's see, some wood, some birch wood. So if we put some hay here and here, here and here. That kind of protects that. We can also take half slabs of whatever your ground is, your ground material, put them here. That's all blocked off. And it's kind of nice decoration. Now, the cows are going to make it hard for you to fall down into that hole when you walk over there, but just to be safe, you put some half slabs up here if you want. Then you're not going to be able to fall down in the hole. Finally, you don't want other animals, other mobs, to come over here and step on this when you're not in control of things. So what I like to do is surround this with some fence or wall that they're not going to be able to get over. And then, okay, get rid of the animal sounds. This is horrible. Only creatures. Those are really quiet. Much better. And then we can put a gate there. What's great about it is this pressure plate is going to power the gate. So when I open it, I go and I step on it. This is going to shoot out my 10 things. The nice thing about this here is that it's not going to mess up the dispenser. The dispenser's not going to suddenly start bouncing them. It knows that the timer needs to be done. But the pressure plate will close our gate when we come back out. So that's safe. And then that's our collection. That's your goal. You put that all together, you got a cow farm. And you can hide this behind a shed. I like to make it a shed. Maybe store some wheat back there. Make a little door to give yourself access.